Hi, good morning on a beautiful, brisk February 4th. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. I'm following up on what I said I was going to talk about last week that didn't get to, and in the essence of time, moved it to this week. But what I want to share with you this week is this. I'm going to help you understand an attacking mindset as it relates to how you approach and attack your goals heading into the spring market. Because here's the truth. Did you know the top 20% of all listing agents in southeastern Wisconsin by units make up still less than 1.5% of the overall listing inventory in southeastern Wisconsin? Something to think about as it relates to when you think about comparison as the thief of joy and how you attack the spring market. And we'll talk about that here in a second. I'm going to touch on a few priorities because I have a meeting with the CEO of MLS on Wednesday at 2:00. To push on some policy. So I'll touch on that and share for you to give us a compliance update. Sound good? Love it. All right, here we go. Rocking and rolling, jumping right into it. Mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. One of the things I wanted to start off with is give a shout out to the group that attended the Honor Flight Gala. We, as an organization, Keller Williams Milwaukee, were one of the presenting sponsors for the Honor Flight Gala that took place this week, Saturday, raising money for sending veterans to Washington, D.C. and celebrating veterans. So I wanted to give a shout out to, I think we had 2 or 3 tables at the gala, a 500-person event. And so I wanted to thank the group for representing KW and our continued support of the Honor Flight and what the Honor Flight does for our veterans. Following last week, there was a bunch of announcements as it relates to hirings and moving people around and shifting. And we do that in the essence of clarity and transparency so that you guys know what to expect when you enter into any of our environments and who's, where, what, how. And we've kind of been on this theme of stability and consistency. So someone who's been on our team for a little while, Madeline Ellergard, has been with us for like the last four-ish months, has worked everywhere from Lake Country to Prestige to Tosa to New Berlin and everywhere in between. Will be now shifting into a new role specifically focused on the North Shore. And again, going back into that theme of consistency so that you guys are familiar with faces, and we share it with the whole group because we want you comfortable in any of our locations. And I'll be sending this out this afternoon, an updated org chart, so that you guys can see. But again, whether you do business on the east side, west side, north side, or south side, that you feel comfortable entering into our environments, you understand and know who to expect when you walk into our environments. And we're excited for Madeline, who's been kind of bouncing all over the different locations. They have a landing spot with us in the North Shore, and that when you enter into the North Shore or your clients enter the North Shore, you know who will be there to greet them, support them, and serve them when you enter into the environment. Cool. Congrats, Madeline. Also wanted to give you a heads up that agents' reports were sent via Google Drive to all agents last week. If you recall, in the past, we used to do it old school where we would print all of your reports that you would then hand to your CPAs as you were preparing your tax preparations. This year, everything came to you digitally. I know it came out last week. And you have everything in one file. And in the event that you need something, we can easily access it and share it back to you. But within that Google file, you will find all of your transaction reports for 2024, all as it relates to closings, GCI. You also have a deductions report that shows you all business-related expenses associated to KW and what you can itemize all deductions as it relates to that. You'll also have your 1099s within there. And then the only thing that isn't within that report that you will need to pull, but you will also get physically within the mail, is for those that received income via the profit sharing system that will come. You can download it via mykw.kw.com, but it will also come in the mail as well. So just be on the lookout for that. Cool. All right. With that, I also wanted to make sure that we're saving the date because this is the last team meeting now for 2 weeks. Next week, we are doing our 2024 award show. So Prestige is upcoming on February 10th. North Shore and Tosa is Tuesday, February 11th. Southwest is February 12th. And Lake Country is February 13th at a variety of times and locations. We did a little quick run of show for the awards yesterday. And not only do we love celebrating the production, the results, and showcasing what people accomplished in 2024 by location, But the real power in this is who you inspire to be and who you aspire to be and who you are inspired by. And the agent to agent peer awards that come up every year within these are absolutely phenomenal. And what people share about their peers and what you can learn about your peers and peers giving awards to each other is incredibly, honestly, it's my favorite part of the whole thing. So would love to see you. I'll be at every single one of them, and looking forward to it. Prestige on Monday the 10th, North Shore and Tosa the 11th, Southwest on Wednesday the 12th, and Lake Country on the 13th. So hope to see you next week. All right, with that, I wanted to give the group a quick update. Last year I shared some strategic priorities that I was really pushing on the association to, and what I mean by that is Maureen and I sat down with Mike Ruzicka and really were pressing the association as it relates to their partnership and, quite frankly, ownership, because if you don't know this, the association owns the MLS, around how the association handles MLS policies, procedures, their boards, so on and so forth. And we had some productive discussions. And with anything within our industry in Southeastern Wisconsin, change doesn't happen fast within our association. So Maureen, Kimmy, and I have a meeting with the MLS, with Chris Carrillo, the CEO of the MLS, on Wednesday at 2 p.m. And I wanted to share with you kind of 3 big strategic priorities that we are pushing the MLS on and that we are prepared to present to them as it relates to what we are pushing for on your behalf with the MLS. Now, this isn't everything within our discussion that we plan to have with them, but this is the main kind of what we as an organization, they're coming to us and saying, you closed 5,600 transactions last year for about 2.5 billion. What is important to those that look to you for leadership? And so this is kind of what we had boiled this down to and what we will be pushing the MLS on this week. And I wanted to give the rationale behind the 3 strategic priorities that we're pushing them on. And in the age of agent empowerment, we need to ensure that we're providing all members with the necessary tools to enhance their ability to deliver their fiduciary responsibilities and keeping the agent at the center of the transaction. At the end of the day, the association and the MLS serves its members. And so the members' priorities are what should be in the center of their focus. And in the age of consumer empowerment, especially what we've been coming out of the last 2 years, we need to ensure that all consumers have access to all relevant information available within the market so they can make the most prepared and informed decisions, right? And then lastly, agents have the ability to weaponize loopholes within the system. So let's close the loopholes. So what are my 3 priorities that I'm going to really be pushing them on and tightening the screws to? 1, individual agent IDX feeds. It's blasphemy, complete blasphemy, that we are one of 2 major metropolitan markets in the entire US that does not allow individual agent IDX feeds. The irony to that statement and that policy is that our partner association, which is the Arizona MLS, which is the one that also co-owns the aligned showings and a variety of other things that we do, ironically allows for individual IDX feeds. I did my research. So individual IDX feeds are important from a standpoint of how we help you weaponize data in order to help you increase your conversion and what that does from a technology standpoint to enhance your ability to serve your clients and capture relevant information as it relates to the transaction, how consumers are searching, so on and so forth. The second is I'm pushing for syndication of delayed listings. There is 0 reason why they have access to the information, why some companies are allowed to syndicate their delayed listings and other companies aren't. And I'm pushing for complete transparency as it relates to that policy and pushing it forward because I believe it enhances the consumer's ability to access information, which I think is really important right now. The third thing that I'm pushing for is placing standard rules around the 48-hour rule. And look, it's not lost on me that we even have people within our own environment that do this, but it bothers me because I don't think it's ethically or morally appropriate. What I mean by that is if you have the ability to have a full-blown $10,000 marketing package on a property and that you can go live and have the full marketing package for 48 hours before you enter it into the MLS, my pushback is that as soon as you hit go on the marketing, it should be live in the MLS. Every consumer should be aware of it. Every agent who pays into the association and the MLS should be aware of it. And we shouldn't be weaponizing loopholes in order to build people's businesses. This is not, there's I would say a few players in town that are really doing this in a way that I don't think enables or puts the agent in the best position to have success. To me, so I'll bite my tongue on more on that as it relates to that policy, but those are three kind of priorities. Number one being the largest. Two, I just look at like syndication of delayed listings on a Saturday morning when you're at a soccer game or at a basketball game or anything in between or at a dance recital or whatever. And that you have to be looking at the hot sheet in order to be help inform your clients as to what's coming up, because it isn't hitting the access portals, to me is like the complete, I don't even know, I'm tongue tied to it because it frustrates me so much. So, and then the last thing is just making sure that we have standard practices, because I think it's clear cooperation. So those are kind of the three, along with a variety of other topics that we plan to address, but I wanted to put that in front of the group so that you understood some of the dialogue that was being had on your behalf with the MLS and the association, which we're having this week on Wednesday afternoon. Cool. If you have any thoughts on it, I know there's been a variety of people that have been very passionate about these topics. Nada, I know, has been one of them, has been very helpful, quite frankly, in helping us source feedback and information. But if you have thoughts, feedback, whatever it might be, feel free to give me a shout. Happy to discuss it, or if there are other things that we can help push through from a progressive policy standpoint as it relates to the association of the MLS, I'm all ears, because we want to be your advocate in that space. Cool. All right, with that, I'm flipping it over to Sheriff Reed, because we have some important reminders as it relates to marketing guidelines and how people are using video and social media on listings that are not their own. And I say that from the standpoint of we want to make sure that we're utilizing it, the tools that you have at your fingertips in the most appropriate fashion. So, Sheriff Reed, what do these guys need to know?
Good morning. Morning, everybody. What you need to know is probably what you already know, but this is a very good reminder, maybe for new licensees or people who have forgotten. But as Charlie said, the use of photographs, information, and videos in your realm, in your Facebook, in your marketing, you cannot use another listing's information or data, especially photos, videos. Like if you're promoting a certain neighborhood or a certain area and you want to throw in all the listings in that area, you really cannot do it unless you ask the listing agent first. And it's probably good to have a written reply from the listing agent that gives you permission. But it says that it is illegal to do so. And even if you're trying to do it in a positive way to promote a block or a neighborhood, sort of, it's still illegal to use it. And there's a Wisconsin statute to prove that it is illegal. Without agency agreement is prohibited. A firm and any licensees associated with the firm may not advertise the property unless one of the following applies. The firm is the listing firm for the property, so we can use other KW listings, but we cannot use Shore West First Weber listings in our marketing without, and here's part B, the firm or the licensee associated with the firm has obtained consent to advertise the property from the listing firm for the property. And I would say, even loop me in, or Steph, if you are getting permission to use those, that we are aware of that. So the fact that the property is listed in the MLS does not give the cooperating broker the authority to advertise, even if via print or electronically. If the information is obtained from the MLS, it may only be used with the authority or consent given under the MLS rules. The fact anyone may obtain the information electronically from the MLS does not grant them consent to use it in any manner. So I just wanted to get to the nut of that as a good reminder, and don't get in a tussle with another firm or another co-broke agent over this. So next slide, please, Charlie.
Yeah, Joan, I think it's just in the advent of TikTok, Reels, stories, and everything in between, and how quickly we can
Totally.
access as we walk through. We just want to make sure that as a good reminder and best practice, as well as state law, that we're getting consent from those within the listing.
Yes, please.
And I will, yes, GMAR Ethics Board is also starting to crack down with fines for unauthorized use of such content. You also have to remember too that, and I'm sure many of you have experienced this, there are sensitivities from a privacy standpoint that as you're marketing certain properties, when you go through, you're very strategic and intentional and purposeful around the video that is shown, the photography that is used. And if we're carefree willy-nilly with a phone, there might be some sensitive information or sensitive aspects of the property that was strategically not provided within the marketing profile. So we just want to make sure that we're getting consent of the listing agent.
And this also applies to expired listings, sold listings. It doesn't have to be another active listing. So that's their property and you cannot use it, period, without their permission. Another thing that is a good reminder is upon listing a property that has been sold or that has expired, never copy that information into your own new listing, such as room sizes or measurements. You should be responsible to get all that information fresh from the municipality or from the property, from the seller, and not copy an old listing. So next one, yes, this is something different. As you know, the GMAR building is being remodeled and redone in the old address, and they are thinking of some decoration possibilities of using your photos of your listings. So they would like you to consider, if you're a talented photographer on your listings, or you have some really good pictures of some listings, it doesn't matter what type of listing it is, but if you want to participate, you submit your photo and photos, and they can be featured in the newly renovated GMAR office space. Submission deadline is March 1st. For questions, ask Sharon at gmar.com. So I thought that'd be cute and a nice way to decorate the new GMAR offices, because right now they're pretty bleak.
Sheriff Reed, thank you for the reminders. Appreciate you bringing it up.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right, with that, flipping it over to education and events. And there's a good reminder for the group around as it relates to education and events. And there's a line I use often that says, your business will grow to the extent that you do. You will grow to the extent of those whom you surround yourself with. And as you think about who you surround yourself with, so much of the importance of the world is run by those who show up is that connectivity you have with your peers. So as a reminder, we have Ignite that is wrapping up this week. Tomorrow we have Michaela Collar all around mastering closing strategies. The Jean Grecos are all around visiting your future. And then Ashley Meyer will be finishing up on Monday all around the quality of the close. And thank all 12 instructors who taught for Ignite. We had a class of about 30 people that took it. Really great class of people. The connectivity that people come out of Ignite and learning from your peers about what makes people special and what makes their business unique and how they become successful is the diversity of thought and diversity of approach. February, you can see here within the February training calendar, a handful of things obviously that are upcoming and forthcoming next week. We talked about the awards ceremonies all next week, so there is no team meeting. Please take note, no team meeting next week on the 11th. And then there's no team meeting on the 18th as well, because it will be family reunion. And family reunion, more information forthcoming on that. Next, tomorrow in the North Shore office, there's a lunch and learn with Magnolia Tax Services. Eugene Marshall will be sharing all the tips and tricks along how to save with upcoming tax preparations around your deductions. On February 7th, there's a lunch and learn with our gold sponsor within our vendor program at A+ Mortgage at the Downtown Houseworks Collective office on 1st Street. Basically at First at Pittsburgh and Water Street all intersect. So feel free to jump into the A+ Houseworks Financing 101 lunch and learn. Next, very popular Thursday, February 13th, Steph Minnick and Scott Kloss are coming back with their budget model Mastermind, 1 p.m. for beginners, 2 p.m. for advanced, all via Zoom. It is a quite frankly, it's probably one of the highest and best uses training classes or masterminds that we teach, with the least amount of, in terms of concentration to it. Here's the problem. Agents spend money as fast as they make money. And the reason why so many go into debt, they go on this roller coaster ride, is they have trouble tracking and budgeting their finances within their business. Remember, you are a for-profit entity. The way you manage a for-profit entity is you budget appropriately, and ultimately what you track will improve. Steph and Scott run a great mastermind all around the budget model. 1 o'clock on Thursday the 13th for the beginners, 2 p.m. for advanced, all via Zoom. Family reunions coming up. We have a great group that's going out there. Still plenty of tickets to be had. If you want to participate, if you want to jump into a room with a friend, feel free. Here's the group of people that will be going to Las Vegas in 2025. I know a handful of our folks have already been selected for panels and will be teaching at family reunion and giving back of what makes them special and what makes their businesses special. So we're looking forward to spending time with this group in Vegas. And if you haven't signed up yet, feel free. Also, note that family reunion will have a digital experience for a handful of general session and live streams, as well as breakouts. Now, all of our offices, we will have live streams available for the general sessions within the training rooms during the week of family reunion. So feel free to jump in, and know that even if you aren't able to make it in Vegas, that you still have the ability to learn and to grow through the family reunion content that is forthcoming the 17th to the 21st. Next, also for those that are attending, we'll send this out, but the family reunion will be within the Command app in terms of how you pick and choose your agenda. So please take note and pay attention there. Lastly, kind of a mark your calendars, is March 5th out in Grafton. We will be another headshot day. Is very, very popular. Quite frankly, these sell out almost every single time we do these. So March 5th in Grafton, these are open to all locations. Anybody who would like to participate or needs an updated headshot. And then a forthcoming headshot day will be out in the Lake Country, in a Lake Country location, forthcoming in the month of May. So stay tuned for that as well. And then lastly, on March 10th, for those that run teams that are seeking talent, or those that are individual agents that are desiring to join a team, learn about a team, or if you're thinking about starting a team and you want to understand what makes teams' value propositions unique, how they help understand how agents attract and retain talent, opportunity knocks at the Zufari Conference Center on March 10th from 3 to 5 p.m. All right, with that, I'm going to wrap it up with this. Okay, and it's all around how you jump into the spring market by attacking the market. And I'm going to play a little bit of a game. I'm sitting out in Lake Country today, and because I'm out in Lake Country, I'm going to play a game with these folks. I have a question for the group, and feel free to throw it in the chat if you know. If I were to ask you, what does the number 25,369 represent? What do you think it might represent? Minutes
Hearing listings in the MLS.
Listings in the MLS. In what way, Cotty?
Peter, in what way?
The listings that were in the MLS in 2024.
The ones that were in there for 2024,
Boom.
submitted by Peter Gossman.
Peter Gossman, your
wrong.
treat is coming. I'll deliver it to your house. 25,369 listings that went active in 2024. That generated 40,830 what? Closed transactional opportunities. Closed transactional opportunities. So there were 25,000 listings. There were 40,000 closed transactional units in 2024. Okay, there's a couple lessons in those two numbers. One, don't be canceled as a listing agent. What do I mean? Sharpen your pencil, make sure you're going in appropriately from a pricing and a strategy standpoint, clearly communicate what your strategy might be, because there were 5,000 listings that came to the market that never closed. Okay. Two, if you think about your goals for 2025, most of you are looking on the low end to do 5 deals and on the high end, 400 deals. Okay, on the low end, 5 deals, on the high end, 400 deals. Okay. And when you think about the top 20 listing agents, only made up less than 1.5% of the overall market of listings that came to the market in 2024. What does that tell you? It tells you is the market is robust for you to achieve your goals. The question is whether you will do it or somebody else will do it for you. Okay. You control the outcome to your income. You control your outcome to your income. Because if you look at this, and this is a poor representation because I don't have the best drawing skills on PowerPoint, around the trajectory of our industry over the last 5 years is basically been this. And my questions for you as it relates to how you attack the spring market, knowing last year there were 25,000 listings, and I think that number will go up in 25. Last year there were 40,000 closed transactional units. I believe that number will go up in 25. My questions for you as it relates to your goals, and most people, especially from a fitness standpoint, have already lost their New Year's resolution, is this. What does the curvature of your line look like as it relates to the outcome of your income? What does the outcome of your leadership? Something happens. Leadership is something that happens that was not going to happen, right? There are people whose businesses and the trajectory of their incomes did not follow the trajectory that the industry had. And where is your leadership within your business and within your life? What is your impact and what am I changing based on my trend? So if your trend is worse than the industry, we have to make massive change in order for it to change. Some of you are following the industry trends, and some of you are bucking industry trends. What do you desire to achieve in 2025? With 25,000 listings that came to the market and 40,000 closed units, my question to you is, are you done? Most of you aren't. And if you look at those numbers and you say, I can't achieve my goals this year, then we need to be thinking about a transition out of the business, because everybody should be looking at 40,000 transactional units and saying, absolutely, I can achieve what I desire to within this business because there is plenty of business to be had. And then my challenge for you is this. Strategically, the reason why I'm bringing this up in February is don't lose sight of what your goals are in 2025. Choose something big and go after it. Okay. So what are your goals and are they your standard? What are your goals and are they your standard? Have you set your standard for this is my minimum baseline level of achievement? And I've used this story before because it rings in my head like a broken record around relative performance and absolute performance. I have a friend of mine who works for Ted Kellner. Ted is a very successful individual in southeastern Wisconsin. Has had a lot of success in a lot of different businesses. And every single year he challenges his team with there's relative performance and absolute performance. Relative performance is the justification you make of what the industry gives you. Absolute performance is what you do in spite of what the industry gives you. And the only thing that matters to your income and your outcome is your absolute performance in what you do with what the activities you do and what you get out of the business. There are 40,000 transactional units with 25,000 listings. Most of you are trying to achieve anywhere between 12 to 100. And on the high end, 400 out of a 40,000 unit universe. There's plenty of business to be had. Stay focused on your goals. Keep your activities at the forefront of where you're going, and you'll continue to have success in this business in 2025. Sound good? Beautiful. With that, short, sweet, and to the point. If you have comments, questions, or concerns relates to the MLS, send me a note so I can read your notes in advance ahead of my meeting on Wednesday at 2 p.m. If you need a little bit of a mindset reset around how do I attack 40,000 units, lean into our leadership teams. Everyone's here and ready to serve you and challenge you and get your head into the right course of action because you are on the precipice of the industry about to take off. March is coming and every day, everything is 30 to 60 days out. March is here now. Get ready to go. Sound good? All right, guys. It's a beautiful day. Have a great day.